and welcome to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Ed Stansberry, the Executive Director of Voluntary Action Center. How are you?
I'm good, Adonica. It's good to see you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're not going to delay. You've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening with VAC, isn't there?
There is.
Okay, what's one small thing?
Well, I'm going to give you one big thing, okay? We are working on what we're currently calling the Opportunity Campus. Mm-hmm. We've been working on it for now in our fourth year. Efforts began in early 2021 when Faith Voices, an ecumenical group here in town, approached VAC to ask us to take the lead to create a project like this with our partners, Turning Point, who's the drop-in day center currently, Room at the Inn, the overnight shelter, and Loaves and Fishes, the meal service. So those have been our three primary partners. And as we initially started to kind of determine the feasibility, take a few months to figure out all that out, and literally 4 weeks into our process, the American Rescue Plan Act dollars came down to the city and the county and the state. And we realized that those were unicorn funds. And so we had to kind of change our approach a little bit. But as the project evolved, we bought about 6 acres on the east end of the business loop on the north side, just east of the old power plant that a lot of folks will know. And we are planning 2 buildings there. The first building will be the Client Services Building or the Shelter Building. That will house Room at the Inn, Turning Point, and Loaves and Fishes. And then the second building is what we're calling the Resource Center, which will house new VAC offices, a medical clinic, and a space for community partners to move in and out of. And I think the Resource Center is the real differentiator here, that we don't want to just be in the business of warehousing our unsheltered neighbors. We want to provide them with the support services, the wraparound services, and the follow-on services that will allow them to be successful and move up and out of the situation they're in.
Yeah, and let's just be transparent and real here. There are so many misconceptions and so many things that people don't know about this Opportunity Campus. Right. So what would be one thing that you would say? You just talked a little bit about something that I think is very important, the resources and the wraparound services that will be provided. What kind of difference does that make?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. We are basing our approach on housing first principles. So regardless of your incarceration history, your eviction history, your substance abuse history, mental health issues, we get you housed as efficiently and quickly as we possibly can, because the research says that recovery from any of those situations is best launched from a place you call home. So our tagline for this effort is Make Home Happen. The Opportunity Campus, Make Home Happen. So that will be the undergirding for what we're doing. I think one of the early misconceptions was that we were going to just provide shelter, that we know that 70% of our unsheltered neighbors suffer from substance abuse issues or mental health issues or both. So we knew that had to be a critical piece, and we're currently working with Burrell to be our partner on the primary care side, the substance abuse side, and the mental health side. So we will have those services on campus, and that medical clinic will also serve that part of the community. It won't just be for clients of the campus. It'll be open to the community as well.
Oh.
So that'll be a nice resource for that side of town.
It will be. See, I just learned something I didn't know.
Right.
Did not know that medical center would be open to that community.
Right.
Okay, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
See, that's why it's good to have people talking about these things.
And I like there's a couple of questions we get probably more frequently than any. The first one is that we're going to attract a whole new group of homeless folks from across the country to take advantage of this facility. And research says that a national survey that was done in the 2018, 2019, I believe, said that 70% of the homeless population is homeless in the community in which they became homeless. So, and if we think about it, just even anecdotally, this is a portion of our community that does not have financial resources to be very mobile, does not own vehicles to be mobile. So I don't believe that's the issue that some folks would like to think it is.
Okay.
The other one that we get is this is an expensive project. It's going to cost about $18.6 million for the two buildings. So the question, why are we spending this much money on such a small portion of the community? And my answer is, we're already paying for it in two primary ways. The burden on our police force is significant. Some estimates as high as 30% of the calls involve a member of the homeless community. And on a roughly $30 million budget for the police department, that's, do simple math, it's $10 million a year that the police are committing to this part of our community. The second, and probably the most significant, is unreimbursed medical expenses that the university bears and Boone Hospital bears. And we've had conversations with both of those entities to say, hey, this is an important metric for us to track. And they have both been very cooperative to say, we can get you those numbers. Of course, they got to work around HIPAA.
Sure.
But they can get us those numbers so we can say we're having that impact that we think we're going to have, because we all know that when our unsheltered neighbors seek medical care, they usually seek it through the most expensive channel, i.e. the emergency room.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like that those are points that need to be, people should know those points.
Right.
There's always, I would say, more to a story, a program, an opportunity campus.
Right.
Than the small blurb that you may read somewhere. So that's why I think it's important for you to come on shows like this one to talk about what's really going on.
And I thank you for it, because I'm still amazed at how many people I talk to that go, I never knew you guys were doing this.
Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity.
Ed, thank you. You can come back anytime
Okay,
and talk
I'll do
about
it.
it. I know VAC always has amazing things going on. But I appreciate you coming on to talk about this very important issue to our community. Thank you for what you're doing. And we will hopefully see you next time.
We will.
All right.
All right.